Okay, so when I say PhD in management, what's the first thing that pops into your head? I'm guessing a dusty office, piles and piles of research papers? Yeah, probably something like that. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and really get into the real story because this qualification is way more powerful than you might think. So let's just dive right in with the big question. Is this PhD thing just another certificate to hang on the wall? Or is there a much bigger story here? One that's about I don't know, a total transformation from manager to like an extraordinary leader? We're about to find out. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to bust that common stereotype wide open. Then we'll break down the 5 pillars that are the real foundation of this degree. After that, we'll get into the single biggest thing that sets a PhD apart. Then we'll look at all the cool career paths it unlocks. And finally, we'll ask the big question. Is this journey right for you? All right, first things first. Let's tackle that biggest myth right head on. You know, the whole ivory tower idea that a PhD in management is just a one-way ticket to some quiet university office. I mean, when we think PhD, we usually picture some distinguished professor or a super serious researcher, right? But honestly, especially in a field like management, that's not even half the story. The reality is, well, it's a lot more exciting. So if it's not just about becoming a professor, then what is it about? Well, try thinking of it this way. A PhD in management isn't just a bunch of theories. It's more like a blueprint, a detailed plan for building a true leader. Let's see how that blueprint actually works. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. The whole program is basically built on these 5 super strong pillars. First, you get such deep knowledge in one area that you start generating totally new ideas. Second, your research skills, I mean everything from data analysis to solving complex problems, they just go to a whole other level. Third, it actually opens the door to making a real contribution, whether it's to society or your industry. And that in turn builds some serious academic credibility. Finally, you put it all together and you get this immense analytical power. And that's something every single top-tier leader absolutely has to have. Now, all of this builds up to what I think is the most important idea of all. It's the one thing that truly, truly separates a PhD from almost any other degree you can get. You know, most professional training, even really high-level stuff, it's all about solving problems with tools that already exist. And hey, that's super valuable. But a PhD, it isn't about that. It's about something way more fundamental. And here it is. This is the whole ballgame. Pretty much anyone can learn to apply a solution that someone else came up with. But a PhD trains you to create a brand new solution. It's a difference between following a map and actually drawing the map yourself. And that ability to generate completely new insights, that's the real game changer. And this unique skill, this ability to create knowledge, it doesn't just stay locked away in a university. Let's check out the incredible universe of possibilities that opens up once you step outside of academia. Look, becoming a professor or a researcher is a fantastic path. I mean, shaping the next generation of leaders, that's huge. But it is far from the only option. The real fun starts when we look beyond the campus gates. This kind of expertise basically unlocks doors into 3 huge sectors. You've got the super fast-paced corporate world, the high-impact government sector, and of course, the incredibly creative world of entrepreneurship. Let's take a quick look at each one. So in the corporate world, having a PhD is like having a superpower. Seriously, think about it. Companies pay an absolute fortune for management consultants, business analysts, and strategy managers who can solve their most complex, never-seen-before problems. Well, guess what? That is exactly what a PhD trains you to do. And the impact gets even bigger. These skills are in crazy high demand in government and nonprofits. You could end up working in a think tank, actually influencing national policy, or for a huge global organization like the UN or the World Bank, tackling global-scale challenges. This is where your research can literally change the world. So what if you want to build your own thing? Well, for an entrepreneur, a PhD is an amazing launchpad. That ability to do deep market research, to perform really rigorous data analysis, that can be the one thing that separates a failed startup from a game-changing, innovative company. So, after all that, we've got to come back to the most important question of all. Look, this is a tough, multi-year journey. It's definitely not for everyone. So let's get personal for a second and figure out if it actually lines up with your goals. This might help you make up your mind. If you're the kind of person who just loves diving deep, I mean really deep into a topic, and you get a real kick out of research and analysis, then yeah, this path could be absolutely perfect for you. But if your main goal is to get a quick promotion, or you really just prefer hands-on, operational, day-to-day work, there are probably better, faster ways to get there. In the end, it really comes down to what you're passionate about and what truly drives you. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Try not to think of it as just getting another degree. Instead, ask yourself this. Is there a big, messy, complicated problem out there that you feel passionate about? A problem that you want to give yourself the tools to actually solve? Because if the answer is yes, then a PhD in management might just be the first and most important step you take toward finding that solution.